So, good morning, Ivan, or is it afternoon in your side of the world?
Yeah, it is like 3 p.m. here in London, whereas I'm currently recording with you.
Oh, awesome. Okay. Well, I just want to say thank you for taking the time to sit down and be interviewed by me. I'm pretty sure that all of our members at the FFA are all interested to hear everything about you. Well, a few questions about you, not everything. So let's get started. My first question for you is, can you tell us a bit about your background and professional journey in the field of anti-fraud prevention?
Yeah, for sure. First of all, I want to say thank you for inviting me. It is a pleasure to be here and share a bit of my experience. And I hope I'm doing the best to presenting and answering all questions. And about my background, so I have totally about like 12 years experience in fraud prevention, I believe. I started a long time ago in a bank back in Russia when I do simple manual review monitoring. And started from there, my career started to grow in a way to related to fraud prevention, where I first joined the Forex company and continue working in the company calling Get. It is a taxi aggregator company, the same business model as Uber, because it's most familiar for everyone. Yeah, I was there fraud ops manager. I started in the Moscow office, and after that, I was relocated to London, where I continued my journey in the Get. My focus was about like all driver fraud related, not only driver fraud, ride related frauds, and variety of different things. I believe people who work in that industry know everything about resellers, about driver fraud, collusion, etc., etc. And after Get, I joined the Booking.com. It was my longest experience. So far, it is still my longest experience in fraud prevention, where I was in a payment fraud team most of the time. And it was a great team, a great experience. 4.5 years I spent there. It was amazing journey, and I'm glad I had that experience in the past. And right now, I'm working in a company called Bumble. It's dating applications, whereas payment fraud and reporting lead.
Wow, that's an awesome journey. And so currently you're doing Bumble and you also have a podcast, am I correct?
Yeah, yes, I have
Yes.
that one. It's calling a journey into fraud prevention. So I just like describe my journey, but usually everyone who come into my podcast, it's like 30 minutes, and I torture them with the questions.
That is very cool. We'll add that link in the details of this video later on. All right, for your second question, what specific areas within fraud practices do you specialize in?
Right. So specializing is a really hard word because um, I know a lot of people right now. Once I started to do podcast as well, my networking growing, and I know it's a lot of people who know much more in the fraud industry rather than me. But my primary focus for the past, I know, 7 years, it's payment fraud and everything related to payment fraud. However, I'm still looking around. To get some knowledge regarding the different types of fraud as well, because I'm so passionate about fraud prevention area and want to learn something new every day.
In your experience, what are some common challenges faced in anti-fraud practices, and how do you approach solving them?
Right. I would say is one of the things that's pretty common in the fraud industry, that not everyone really want to hear about fraud when you work in any companies. No one want to hear that these kind of things exist, and this has become a challenge for everyone who work in the fraud fighting industry. You need to try to sell what you're doing and what you try to prevent for entire company, and make sure that what you sell it actually happens. Because if you say we have fraud everywhere in each instance in our processes, it's going to be tough call for you at the end. You're probably not able to reach out on the stage to say we resolve everything. You need to make sure that when you try to call out the fraud that happens in the company, you need to understand the size of it. You need to have some strategy in viewing on how you're gonna resolve this one. Um, just like a brief example, you can when I worked back in probably Get is one of the great experience. Yeah, it's a great experience. I joined the Moscow office. I was first fraud analyst that exists in the company. And in my first day in the company, someone told me that we have plenty of fraud. That's what my intro in the company. No one share me anything, how to find it, what kind of fraud they think in the company. And I started from the simple things. I just like going around everywhere and speaking with the people to understand what common problems they have, what common issues they might have during the process of working with drivers and customers. And after certain times, the puzzle is completed and we start to build some fraud functionality because at the beginning, as I mentioned, it was like we have a fraud, find it. And after certain time, we have understanding what is fraud, how to fight with this one.
So the strategy is throw you in the jungle, and that's how you'll build your strategy.
Yeah, exactly. It most of the time like that. When you're working in the fraud, most of the time when you're looking at some particular things during this investigation, you realize that something else happens. I'm gonna leave it note for myself afterwards. And at the end, you have a lot of these notes, a lot of the theories, and you start to looking around them and realize, oh, we have another things that we need to look after. Otherwise, the things that we try to prevent right now might stop, but all this potential other options of the fraud might grow much faster than what we try to resolve right now.
That's cool. So it's really building a strategy from your experiences. So it's a lot of learning. That's awesome. Yeah. All right. My next question for you. What emerging trends or technologies do you think will have a significant impact on the future of anti-fraud prevention?
I would say the emerging trends. It's everyone speaking about it. It is about artificial intelligence, and it is a lot of articles right now around like how deepfakes, for example, works, how it's going to change the entire industry because the industry who using, for example, KYC for a long time right now faced with the problem that they're not sure the documents they get it's real documents. That's actually it changed the game for a lot of companies, financial institution, and we will see a lot of changes. My expectation that we will see a lot of innovations happens this year and next year around AI and how to prevent deepfakes and how to work with KYC documents as well. It's going to be one of the biggest challenges, as I mentioned already. And during this migration, unfortunately, some of the people might not be happy with the service because something new not means it very flexible. So we will see maybe new way how the people request documents, not people companies. Sorry, and it's one of the trends. Another trend that's I would say hmm, it's a lot of them. I would say the chargebacks. It's still things, but it's going another way. Everyone know how to work with this right now. I know. I feel we might expect something else. Maybe because of the amount and count of payment methods available worldwide increase, and not only credit cards. I believe the first is gonna switch to the new payment methods, and we will start to fight with this one as well.
Right. So lots of surprises in 2024 to,
Yeah.
to watch out for.
Yeah, welcome 2024.
All right. Okay, so next question. Collaboration and community engagement. So how do you believe collaboration within our community can strengthen our anti-fraud efforts?
I would say it is one of the key things I believe gonna help us during this journey to preventing fraud. Because I remember when I started working in the fraud prevention, I didn't know any channels or anyone who worked in the fraud at all. So it was me alone in the field, and I just like Google something. It wasn't a lot of the companies who work with the fraud, so I need to find all information. Spent I know weeks, months to find specific information. Nowadays we have communities, and we able to communicate with the people, and the people actually who work in fraud industry, they very collaborative. If you reach out to anyone, most of the time, if the person, I believe, not busy, they navigate you, give you some tips and understanding. This is a huge effort for everyone to find the best way how to fight fraud, how to find the answer on the question, maybe how to build the strategy as well, because right now it's a lot of the information how to build fraud strategy, which is not simple one. So collaborative is the key in our area, and I believe we in an area where the collaboration way more valuable rather than, I don't know, knowledge, how to query data, for example.
Okay, so I'm trying to understand that part. So what you're trying to say is, yes, there's a lot of knowledge out there, but you need like strength in numbers to process it. Is that how it works? Like what can you can't really
Yeah,
make
for
use of the
sure.
knowledge. Yeah, you can't make use of the knowledge, right? Without the team versus just you alone. Yeah,
I would
that makes
say, let me rephrase it this one,
sense.
because maybe I just like providing not in a different direction answer. So
Okay.
when you so collaboration is split on two things. So you have internal collaboration when you work with your team, and you can't hide anything from your entire company. So if you see something happens, the best um, advice I can give right now, just like not hide this information. Speak it out loud as soon as you figure out something, because as long as you wait, it's harder to hit afterwards. But if you're speaking about like external collaboration, when you looking on what we have right now, it's groups of people or specific people who just posted information about how to build fraud from the scratch, how to create your strategy. So the knowledge right now is so open and allow you to simply to get access to that one. And if you want to clarify some points, you can collaborate with anyone in the fraud fighting industry. And you can find plenty of information, and you can find the author of this article, for example, to clarify something. I hope in
Awesome.
that way I'm describing better.
No, no, I totally get it. Like, share the knowledge, basically, right? That's
Yeah,
how the industry works. That's awesome. So, based on your experience, what advice would you offer to professionals who are relatively new to the field of anti-fraud prevention?
sure. So as I mentioned already, uh, not hide anything. If you see something not right, how they say it here in the underground, see it, say it, sort it. Um, the second advice, I would say, don't forget to build your own profile, because it's very important to grow your knowledge, attend conferences, attend uh, webinars, or have opportunity to speak in this podcast as well. So this one is great options for you. Share a bit about yourself and people to know that, for example, Ivan exists in the industry, and we can reach out to him anytime to maybe to find the answer on specific questions. And the third advice, I would say that never stop to be curious about something. So once you stop to be curious, it's a good way to consider to find maybe to look on the your daily task from another angle, and you definitely find something more, some new things.
I love those great advices. So, looking ahead, what do you envision for the future of anti-fraud prevention? And how can professionals prepare for evolving challenges?
All right, that's a great question. To be honest, I really afraid to to answer that one. For the past couple years, started from COVID, it is pretty hard to say what to expect in the future. So, looking back, when it's like COVID happens, AI happens, uh, economic situations screw up everywhere. So it's hard to, it's really hard to predict anything, to be honest. But speaking about like the second part of your questions, how can professionals prepare for challenges they're expecting? I would answer in a way one of the past questions. Collaboration is the first things. If you collaborate, you're aware what's happens in the industry, and you know, and you start to see some emerging trends maybe on your end as well. And the second, that you need to, once again, just repeat myself, be curious. And once you're curious about something, it definitely help you to spot something, find a way how to resolve it, and resolve all the challenges.
Thank you for that. Okay, now, our last question, it's a fun fact. So, outside of your professional life, what are some hobbies or interests that you enjoy? Is there maybe a like a favorite quote or mantra that you use?
Right, that's a really great questions. I would say fraud fighting. It's most of the time very stressful work, and I find a way how to relax myself. I prefer to do some kind of sport. I did the CrossFit before, but I hurt my shoulders a couple years ago. That's I changed in a way. So right now I'm doing this cycle classes, which is really how's it like sweat classes in the morning. That's resolve all stress situation that's may on your shoulders after the long day or before the long day. And yeah, the simple things I usually remind myself, not overcomplicate. If you believe uh, you want to, I don't know, communicate, for example, with your manager, and you're not sure that you have everything in your pocket to whatever the reason of your communication, just like relax, have a couple brief, and not overcomplicate, because most of the time, as simple as possible is the best approach.
Thank you, Ivan. I super am like I'm truly honored. It's such a pleasure interviewing you. I love your advices, and I hope that our FFA members will learn a lot from you. Thank you for your time today.
Thank you so much for inviting me, and looking forward for see this recording, because as I mentioned, most of the time I'm sitting on another side of the table. And hi everyone of FFA members. If you have any questions, please reach out to me. I'm more than happy to future collaborations.
That's awesome. Thank you, Ivan. Thank you for your
Thank
time
you.
today.